Hey everybody, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. Welcome to our Sunday vinyl video. And this is another one where I always put vinyl review in the thumbnail of it, but of our vinyl videos, but they end up being more you and I just kind of discussing the album. And if I have any info to share on pressing, exact pressing or what I've owned before, I try and share that as well. So today we are talking about a new one that a new one to us that I finally picked up recently. I think I've been telling you for like a year. When I get a chance, I'm going to buy the Chronic 2001 because in like big box retail nowadays, like Walmart and Target and everything, it's crazy to me that this is so commonplace, but anywhere they always have a copy of the Chronic, which I don't mind. I love, that's a great album for many different reasons. But between the two, I like 2001 better overall than the first one. And so every time we are at a Walmart or a Target or whatever, and I see the Chronic, I'm always like, oh, darn it, I got to get 2001 when I get a chance, you know? So I finally just went ahead and got it. And years ago, I had the Back to Black vinyl pressing of it, which is I don't even think exists anymore, but it was like a division of Sony and Island Records and whatnot, where they would do like, when vinyl first had its big resurgence in like 2008, 2007, 2008, they would go through and pick like stuff they would know would sell for sure. And it was a good branding for Back to Black, like, you know, like this is coming up back out on vinyl. I remember the Use Your Illusion albums, a lot of Journey stuff, Dr. Dre. So they were pretty solid pressings by and large, but that's the one that I owned before. So the one that come out most recently is more just a direct remaster. And so I was kind of curious how it was going to sound, because one thing about, at least in my opinion, for a genre that has its roots in vinyl, like because of the sampling and everything, rap by and large doesn't have a lot of effort put into their pressings, and especially reissues of what I consider to be classics. Give you an example. Me Against the World by Tupac is my favorite Tupac record. Across vinyl, it's 4 LPs, and every version I know of, it's like all 4 records are like crammed into a single cover. Like it's not even a gatefold.
Oh my.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, the Speaker Box and The Love Below by Outkast, 4 LP set. It's in a gatefold, but again, both records from each one are like shoved and they don't use the highest quality vinyl either. I would, based on the samples, sometimes that doesn't matter. Like something like License to Ill by the Beastie Boys is kind of a noisy record in the first place because of all the sample sources that they use. But something like Dr. Dre is known as a producer first. Like I have to assume the audio quality is going to matter to him more than anything else, you know? So when I got the Back to Black one, the only problem I had with it for years is it just seemed like it was on like noisier vinyl than it should be.
Okay.
So 9 times out of 10, even though I owned that pressing, I would end up a lot of times just streaming one-off songs to get the quieter sound from it. I'm happy to say for this one, and I'm doing this a little out of order from what we usually do, but the sound quality on this is fantastic. Like I was dead quiet. The sound stage was really, really wide. Like most of the songs from this you have heard as one-offs in the car. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever played the album straight through for you in the car. Generally, because I grew up in Detroit and rap has been a very important thing to me since I was a very small kid. Every so often, something will be said where I go, oh, that reminds me of this line from this song you got to hear. And I've thrown them on in the car. So this is kind of the first time you've heard the songs like in context and all the way through. Yeah. Like back to back.
That's correct, sir.
And I got to assume you thought the sound quality was as good or better than what you've ever heard from streaming.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to you say this whole thing and I was like, I didn't notice a difference between what I heard here now and what I'd heard streaming before. So no, it's not noisy.
So just as quiet and not as noisy. Packaging is a weird one on this because there's no gatefold. It's just 2 LPs in, you know, and then there's a inner sleeve. I always take pictures that we'll throw up and there's an insert, but I'm of 2 minds about this because I think this is such an important album. But it's also not that old yet to where, you know, like you get like box sets of like Beatles stuff and stuff because it's, you know, whatever, 40, 50, 60 years old now, right? And this record is relatively young. It's 25 years old. And the original packaging was to be plain and straightforward. I mean, it's a black cover, just Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001. That's it. Like it was meant to be. So it's kind of like if they would have put it on vinyl and put it in a gatefold and kind of went the extra mile, I also would have been like, but this album didn't need it. You know what I mean? It would be like the Beatles' White Album, like coming up with new artwork for that. You'd be like,
The Beatles' White Album, now in color.
right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
So
course.
the packaging I'm split on because on the one hand, this is the art direction of the original album. And on the other hand, I just feel like the album deserves more reverence than that. And furthermore, I don't think I'd be happy either way. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Price, you can find this for, let me say this, don't pay over 30 or $35 for this. And the reason why I say that is because one of the reasons why we've been waiting forever is because every time I've tried to look it up anywhere, people are asking like $35 and $40 and more for that. No, again, if it was a gatefold, if it had, if it was at 45 RPM, if it had special packaging or whatever, fine. Like, I don't mind paying extra for that stuff. But you and I both know it didn't cost you $40 to put 2 LPs in paper sleeves inside a single.
Right.
You know what I mean? For value, that's where we get into, I always say on the channel, like, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. But at the same time, I would say don't spend more than $30. Like, you know how much I love this album. And I've waited, I don't know, we've had a hi-fi set up now for I think about a year and a half since I'm down here in Jacksonville. And if I've waited that long for the record to be around $30, you can wait
Yep.
that long
That's
to
true.
find it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I just don't, it's a fantastic album. There's like 2 tracks on it that I don't think are absolute gold. I think everything else is stunningly good for many different reasons. But I feel like it's something you could just, for the value of it, to own a physical copy on vinyl, I don't see paying over $30 for it. You know, so that's how I feel. Lauren is like, we joke about this, but Lauren's like fairly new to the rap genre. It's just a thing she didn't grow up with. She grew up more with like yacht rock and like 80s arena rock and that type of stuff, which I did as well. But I think that's where we've talked about this on the channel before, but I think that's where our geography comes from. Like
sure.
where I was, it's pronounced for show. Where I was brought up was a lot more urban than where you were brought up. But what I want to point out about this is, and yes, this is blatant pandering for our other content on the channel, but if you go to the search bar on the channel and type in Eminem, you'll find a video that Lauren did not too long ago called, it's something along the lines of like how I learned to love Eminem, because as a woman, she has heard back in the day nothing but, oh, and Eminem's so misogynist and he's terrible and all this. And I was able to be like, oh, but no, though, like not entirely. And there is an art form to what he's doing. And she details in that video kind of like how her journey coming along to appreciate rap more. And even I bring that up because in this, I think hearing this album straight through, there was a lot of points from you where you were like, oh my God, that's clever. Or, you know, like, even if you don't fully get the reference, if they're making reference to like a certain corner in LA or whatever, it's more about the alliteration of it that matters to you than the point of what they're overall saying. Right.
Yeah. I like wordplay.
Yeah. That's rap is full of it.
Oh, well, I
is
know.
Fantastic. So we do vinyl videos every Sunday. We do our topic videos on Thursday. If you like listening to us talk about vinyl records and whatnot, I'm willing to bet you would like to listening to us talk about topics. And that Eminem video is an example of it. Like that, there's just things like that we do. Hidden gems, 5 songs to start with, or just in general, like, you know, how I learned to love this artist or whatever. So please take a look at those. If you're already subscribed to the channel, awesome. Thank you. If you would please, and I know everybody says this in every YouTube video, but if you hit the notification bell, it really does help, because I've had, even though we're coming up sooner than later on 4,000 subs as the shooting of this video, I've had people I know literally text me and be like, yo, YouTube just showed me a video. I didn't know you guys were still putting videos out. And I'm like, yep, 3 a week for years. So I just saying that's why in these videos, all of us always go, please make sure to hit the notification bell, because I assure you, YouTube is not letting you know, even though you're subbed, that we're still working hard. So if you would please do that for us, that helps us a lot. Comments help. If you can share stuff on social, that all helps too. But the notification bell is the biggest thing you can do to help us out, and it's free. So as we always say, thank you so much for watching.